Would you like to see a coated aperture mask used in a gamma ray telescope?
I think so.
I think you would, because this you'll not believe what you see.
I don't believe it.
There you go. That is one of the simpler.
That's a gamma ray?
That is the front end of a gamma ray telescope, and that's what they look like. When they pick up enough gamma rays, tell where it's coming from.
I mean, that could be a piece of abstract art for all we know. I mean,
well, maybe I better explain it in detail with a little bit of mathematics.
Jesus Christ.
I think that. And I think maybe the next one, David, if you bring it up, we might have a chance to get some of the bottom numbers here. Now, if you all read along with me, this will explain the mathematics behind the math of that. And basically, you know, the shape of the aperture holes, the number of the holes.
Is that a gamma ray?
This is explaining how you would interpret the data depending upon the size of the aperture, the energy of the rays, the angles they're coming at, the distance, and all these other things you would do. And you can read that carefully.
Coated aperture mask.
Yeah, now we're getting into the sort of second generation coated aperture masks here. Made out of tungsten, it's very expensive. It's extremely hard to machine that. It's a pure block of tungsten which they've drilled square little holes out of. This pattern you're looking at is called a modified uniformly redundant array, or a MURA. It's a modified uniformly redundant array.
It's a uniformly redundant array?
It's a modified uniformly redundant array. About 50% open space, so this is in fact 22,000 times more powerful than a single pinhole camera. And even though it's about a yard wide on each side, you know, 22,000 times more powerful than a single pinhole camera is pretty good for squeezing into about a yard space, even though that piece of metal costs well over $1 million to purchase and machine to that perfection.
And we're going to put that in outer space.
And it will stay there. Well, what do you think is next here? How about the next generation?
The next generation of gamma rays, or the next generation?
There's the next generation of the coated aperture mask that's put in front of a gamma ray telescope.
But it's an acoustic ceiling tile.
That's a coated aperture instrument. It's a 1.4 per radian field of view, half coated. The energy range that covers is from 15 to 150,000 electron volts for imaging in a non-coded response. But then the non-coded response will go up to 500,000 electron volts. Now, this is all.
Have you seen the comedy?
This is about coated aperture masks and gamma ray telescopes. The next generation of gamma ray telescopes in space, launched recently. This is the BLAST, or the Gamma Ray Large Area Space Telescope. And in the tradition of NASA, as soon as they launched it up, they took the name BLAST, threw it out, and decided to call it Fermi. You know, the International Space Station, we have a bunch of human people flying up there.
Yes, you've told us all about it.
Yes. Well, they also have some new science results from this week, and I'm going to show you the photograph. Yes, on the International Space Station, a monarch butterfly has emerged from its chrysalis and is now flying around amongst all the lava shit there. And that's cutting-edge science that humans can do in space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to have to kill you very soon.
Okay, how about a picture of my daughter?
Okay. Hey, there she is. Oh. It kind of all makes it, nah, not really actually. Forward into the future, to the future of this show. In the future, there will be more and more of the past. No more future left. And we'll all be here right now, forever, with Linda Robertson. And the orange pants that you wore on the photo shoot for your cover of your book. Did you wear those orange pants? Is that the only pair of pants you have? That's not funny. I can't make a joke out of that. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can get into Linda Robertson's pants. Everybody else does.
Oh!
Hey! All right, David, go ahead. David McGuire has a lot of questions this week. He's going to mix them all
It's
in.
secret. You can't see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very large paper clip. It's right here. I have it. Do you want a microphone too? Is that what you want? You want a microphone? I can't talk to you anymore. It's like we can't communicate. it's weird, you know? It's not like it was before, it's different. It's like you don't even have a microphone anymore. Okay, we're gonna move on. K-Rob, can you take this thing off loop before I go out of my fucking mind? K-Rob flies all the music in live. And David Capurro puts things up here on the screen and makes you laugh, like this. Watch. So you put something up there, and the popcorn goes off, but it's not funny. Yeah, that's kind of funny. And now it's gone. And now we'll move on to something else entirely. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I did an interesting thing today. I'd like to talk to you about it. Just for a moment. Today I moved the coffee roaster out of ritual. I had an epiphany. I did. I was moving this thing and I was defeating the gravity and doing the man shit stuff with the straps and ratchets and well, I realized something. I realized that gravity is not fucking around. Gravity is dead serious. And I ran my fucking foot over on one of the wheels of the dolly, and my toenail came off instantly. And it hurts. I just wanted to share, because I didn't want to tell anyone who was with me at the time because I was embarrassed. But I'm confessing. Otherwise, well, things are going to get kind of weird. And I think that now would be a good time to kind of, yeah.
In my craft, or sullen art, exercised in the still night, while only the moon rages, and the lovers lie abed, with all their griefs in their arms, I labor by singing light, not for ambition or bread, or for the strut and trade of charms on the ivory stages, but for the common wages of their most secret heart. Not for the proud man, apart from the raging moon, I write on these spindrift pages, nor for the towering dead with their nightingales and songs, but for the lovers, their arms round the griefs of the ages, who pay no praise, nor wages, nor heed my craft or art. And here we are. Another episode of the Ask Dr. Hal show. How improbable that we could do it. With no Frank Chu. You know what? Frank Chu is fired. No more Frank Chu. No more Robert Levy. Instead, we have Jimmy, the doorman, who is reliable, dependable, and available, as I understand. Yes, that's just another transient phenomenon of the Ask Dr. Hal show, but one we think our audience, or at least some members of it, will welcome. This is a question and answer show, and I'm here to answer whatever questions you have submitted. I'm willing to answer them all. Indeed, I must. This is my job, my fate here as the headliner of this show. And I strongly recommend that you put $1 in the envelope, at least less than it costs to buy a burrito or a cup of coffee these days, but just think of the hours of fun you'll have recounting my answer and trying to determine what that answer was. Yes. Copyright.
Take that.
Yeah.
And that. Okay.
Pretty interesting, huh? What will I think of next? So now I think we're all caught up to snuff, but I sense with an occult power I have that there is still something lacking. I think there is one more thing which we really should do to get ourselves...
We should check. We should test the show to make sure that all the parameters of the show are indeed correct.
Precisely, because it's grotesquely embarrassing when they're not, as we...
Yes, we have to make sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need absolute silence, just for one moment. K-Rob? Abortion. Okay, he's here, okay. We have to make sure that the smoke pot guys have smoked enough pot. They'll laugh no matter what I say. Watch this. See, I didn't even say anything.
You should try that.
Can't stop. Try. You smoke enough pot, even I'm funny.
A dubious proposition.
Well, there they are. Is that? No, it's what's happening?
The fact is, there is an elaborate subculture which rules and ramifications you have yet to experience and understand. But in the fullness of time, perhaps you too shall be inducted into the Klingon Hall of Expostulation.
Okay, our first question.
How can we have a first question when we don't have a,
A what? K-Rock.
San Francisco.
All right, now we're running on all cylinders. Now I can feel some confidence that we won't derail, go off the